Hello, folks. This is Kevin from Good Day, Good Prayers. Hope you're having a great day. I like this camera, this new camera, because of the fact that it helps me with the lighting. If the lighting is not real good, the old camera would reflect that and it would be dark. With this new camera, it actually helps an awful lot in brightening up something that needs to be brightened. The other thing that it does, it has a much better sound system with it. The old one had a bad sound system. This one has a good one. Today's show is about the kingdom of Jesus. This is the healthcare part. On, I think it was Friday, we talked about some of the different aspects of God's kingdom. And that is the show that took us from today all the way through the setting up of the kingdom of Jesus. It also talked about King Donald and Queen Melania. And the reason for that is because she is said to be a part of the Romanov family. But today we're going to talk about the health care and the fact that it is non-evasive. Excuse me. Now, what we're going to be discussing, there are going to be, as far as I can tell, and I could always be wrong, but I believe this is correct. God wants us to draw our own conclusions. It's not wrong to draw a conclusion if you honestly believe that that is what God wants you to understand about it. What is wrong is just to simply accept and not question what somebody else has said about something. We talked about the open-ended sentences, and it'll say that you'll forever be with the Lord, but where are you forever with the Lord? See, and that is the part of the open end that we have to answer. By the same token, there is a healthcare situation. Now, if you are a part of the spirit world, of course, you're already healthy. You have A1 health. Everything is fine. Okay. But those of us who are part of the mortal world and are here on earth, and we're here because heaven and earth have literally come together. And when heaven and earth come together, it is part mortal and it is part spiritual. If you have gone on before, or if you have gone into heaven, I believe that that probably means that you're a part of the spirit world. But if you're here and you did not go into heaven, then you're part of the mortal world. Well, in the mortal world, God says in the twinkling of an eye. A lot of things are stated in the twinkling of an eye. And how about health? Okay, in the spiritual world, you have the A1 health. Is it possible in the mortal world to also have the A1 health? And that is one of the things that I would kind of like to discuss today to see if we can't come up with a conclusion. Now, there are roughly 6,000, maybe a few more, patents of various things that are going to be accessible to those of us in the mortal world. I don't know how the spiritual world is going to work, but I'm just going to talk about what I believe is the mortal part. And so if you're a part of the mortal world, I believe that it is possible for you to have A1 health. Now, you may be like myself, have a heart problem, have all kinds of various lung issues, have muscular problems, have neurological issues from, various head injuries and various other injuries, and of a lot of, broken bones and so on. And so you may have every problem in the book. You may even have cancer, and I don't even want to talk about that. But the fact of the matter is, you may have all those things. Well, um, God has made it possible that there are ways in which you can medically be corrected. Now, people who believe that God is able to do things are also going to be the same people that are going to draw their own conclusions about what does God actually say about his word, and especially about the eschatology end of it. So let's say that you go to a clinic. Now, you're not going to have this evasive surgery that is going to invade your body and cause you all kinds of pain and suffering, like the surgeries that they do now. If it is a surgery, it'll be some kind of a laser surgery, and it will heal up almost immediately. That's very interesting, because that's how it'll be handled. You go into this apparatus, this piece of equipment, and maybe in 5 or 10 or 15, maybe 30, 45 seconds, or excuse me, minutes, not seconds, minutes, or maybe an hour, suddenly everything is corrected. Now, you get to a point where you are 90, 95% straightened out, and moments later, almost in the twinkling of an eye, you're 100%. Now, you are healthy. At this point in time, you are healthy. You're as healthy as any mortal can possibly be. Okay. But what happens? Well, you eat right. You eat the right kinds of things. You breathe the air that has been straightened out, because God's will is not that you breathe poisoned, polluted air. You drink healthy water. You do all of the things that you're supposed to do. You're not drinking and smoking anymore, because, that's just not something that people are going to do, especially not in excess. I don't know if there's going to be alcohol here. I can pretty well tell you cigarettes will be out, but I don't know if there's going to be alcohol here. You'll have the freedom to overeat. You'll have the freedom to pretty much eat what you want. But the fact is that you can take care of your health, or every maybe 30 or 40, 50 years, you might have to go back to the clinic to be tuned up again. I guess that's really the only way to call it, is you got to be tuned up again. But the fact is that God wants you healthy. God wants you to be able to accomplish the things that he wants you to accomplish. And why is that? Well, he's going to have the greatest economy that the world has ever known. In fact, President Trump is setting that up right now. The peace treaties have been signed. The economic treaties have all been signed. Everything is signed, sealed, delivered, and ready to go. But all of a sudden, you are ready to accomplish all of these different things. It might be education. The education system is now no longer going to be a lie. You're not going to learn 2 or 3% of the truth, and the rest of it all be phony baloney. But you're actually going to learn the truth, because the truth is going to set you free. And this is God's kingdom. And because it's God's kingdom, he's not going to want you to be learning a lie. And so it just isn't going to happen. After all, God's will is being done on earth as it is in heaven. Why? Because heaven and earth have come together and they're one. Okay? So that's the reason why. So, health, there's going to be all these different patents. Many people we talk, and I've heard people talk about med beds, for example, and everybody wants to get into a med bed. Well, the fact is, you may not need a med bed. Your health might be at a situation, an optimum situation, where some other thing that you might do would be the thing, you know. And that's kind of cool. Now, I'm going to end it here, but the med beds, as they call them, are a part of what's called plasma energy. There's some other names for it too, but plasma energy. There are other things that have to do with plasma energy. And these things that have to do with plasma energy are going to also be a part of the system. And we'll talk about that on the next one. I want you to have a good day. And the way to have a good day is with your good prayers. And if they reach the throne of God, well, that's your key. And you are going to have a good day, aren't you? And the longing of your heart, well, that can be accomplished as well with good prayers. But the interesting thing is, if it lines up with the heart of God, well, you're definitely going to get it, aren't you? So with that said, you have a good day.